Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen. In today's video, I'm discussing why it's okay to have emotional crises and what to do when you have them. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started. Okay, so I feel like often having emotional crises, especially if you have them a lot, is portrayed as a negative thing. It's seen as like a mark of personal instability or inadequacy, and fictional characters who have a lot of emotional crises are often written as unreliable or negative. And this is a sort of perception that I want to destigmatize, okay? So let's talk about why it's okay. Emotional crises, first of all, are absolutely normal, okay? Everyone has them. If you show me a person who's never had an emotional crisis in your life, I will show you a liar, okay? Seriously, emotional crises are normal, and although a lot of people feel like they need to hide them, this is actually way more prevalent than you would think, okay? Both the having emotional crises and also hiding the emotional crises, okay? Emotional crises are normal, just putting that out there. Right, number two, they can help you feel your feelings and process your feelings, okay? So one thing that's obviously like, it's an upside and a downside to having an emotional crisis, and that is, obviously, you're feeling a lot of negative feelings, but at the same time, you're allowing yourself to feel that and you're processing, so that can be a good thing, even if it doesn't feel like a good thing at the time. And I think it's important for us to give ourselves some like grace and sort of space, as it were, to actually process those emotions, even if you feel like, ugh, I don't want to do this now, like I don't want to be having this crisis. Like, nobody wants to have an emotional crisis, but they can help you process your feelings. Number three, okay, you can be a naturally emotional person, and this can be a really good thing, okay? It can make you more empathetic, it can make you a better listener, and it can help you understand social dynamics better. So if you are somebody who feels things very deeply, and you're somebody who feels a lot of emotions all at once, and you have a lot of emotional crises, okay, like that's not a bad thing. That can be a good thing. And number four, you can be someone who has a lot of emotional crises and still be very successful, okay? I think a lot of the time we see someone who's having a lot of emotional crises and think, okay, they must be a loser. That's absolutely not true, okay? Just because you're struggling doesn't mean you're not succeeding. In fact, I would argue if you are struggling, then you are trying. So those are all the reasons why it's okay to have a lot of emotional crises. So, obviously, we don't want to be having them all the time. So what do we do? Okay, number one, you need to understand why you're having them. Why are you prone to emotional crises? Now, this is something that I've personally worked through a lot in therapy, and my reasons for being prone to emotional crises include I have a lot of trauma, okay? So a lot of things can be quite emotionally upsetting for me or remind me of stuff that's bad that's happened in the past, and then I start to panic. But sometimes you might just be very emotionally sensitive. I am very emotionally sensitive on some topics. And so digging into the sort of background to understand why you're having these emotional crises is really, really important to kind of managing them, if that makes sense. All right. Number two, accept that you can definitely work on becoming more emotionally resilient. Some people just feel things more intensely than others, and that's okay too. So there's kind of two sides to the same thing. Obviously, yes, you can work on reducing the number of crises you have, the severity of the crisis, okay? But sometimes, maybe you're just naturally a more emotional person and you're more prone to emotional crises, whether this is sort of an inherent trait or whether it's due to past trauma, okay? Yes, you can work on it, but don't expect to eliminate them from your life entirely, okay? Because like I said at the start of the video, emotional crises are normal and everybody has them, on occasion. Right, number three, this is maybe a little bit of a controversial tip, but use them to your advantage, okay? I've done some of my best work when I've been in a highly emotional state. For example, anger makes me very productive, sadness makes me very creative. I've been going through some emotional crises recently, and I've noticed a huge increase in my creativity and productivity. I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of reflection, and I'm actually quite happy with the output. So, yeah, if you can, these things can be strengths if you use them right. I feel like also it's really helpful for your emotional state if you use like that negative energy to create something positive, like you're making something good from something negative. See if you agree, and if you agree, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to hear your views either way. Okay, I have two more tips for you, and the first one is to get people around you who understand, okay? A lot of my friends are the same. That probably comes as no surprise, but a lot of my friends also experience emotional crises regularly. And I think partly this is a symptom of being in your early 20s, but also it's a symptom of just the people that I hang out with. So get people that understand you, and also my therapist is very, very good at understanding, which is probably why she's been my therapist for so long. But yes, this is a personality trait, and it has particular effects, and as long as you have people around you who understand, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. And finally, monitor your emotional state. Now, this kind of goes without saying, and maybe I should have said it at the start, but a lot of mental health management is actually learning to live with the things you can't cure. And when you make peace with this, you can often reduce your symptoms until they're hardly noticeable. I realised a lot that when I started, accepting a lot of things about my mental health and accepting that I couldn't change some things, then those symptoms actually started to go away a little bit. It was almost as if when I started working with my mental health, rather than against it, things actually improved. Because maybe it felt like I was on my own side or something. I don't know. Anyway, those are all the tips I have for you today. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram, and that is why it's okay to have emotional crises and what to do about them. I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye!